Hello grade 3s and any grade 2s who feel like joining us. I really hope that you've been practicing your skip counting at home. You know, one thing I was going to say the other day that you could do for fun, and I totally forgot to mention it, you can turn it into kind of a game. So for example, if you're trying to count by fives, go through your whole house and give people a high five, and every time you high five someone, you count 5 more because you're getting 5 more fingers. Or if you want to count by tens, high tens. Now you could even get fancy and do some high 3s and high 4s with people. That's up to you. It could be fun. It's a better way than just sitting by yourself and counting it possibly. But however you're practicing, please do practice. The more you do this, the more times it happens in your brain, the more you are making those connections and the easier it'll be to remember. So I have the numbers for the 3s and 4s written here because those are the ones you don't know very well yet. So let's count through them and then I'll show you a trick in case you forget how to do it. So let's start with counting by 3s. I put them in alternating colors to make it a little more clear. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Now I said I would show you a trick. Let's say that you can't see what I've got here. Let's say that you don't have the numbers in front of you and you can't remember what comes after 12 or 15. One way you can do it, put up the number of fingers that you're counting by. So in this case, we're counting by 3s. We keep 3 fingers up. Don't change that, okay? Just 3. Now I want you to just keep counting on the same 3 fingers, and whenever you get to the last finger, that's a number when you're skip counting by 3s. If that doesn't make sense, I will demonstrate it. I think you'll understand. So 1, 2, 3. There it is, right there. 4, 5, 6. Here it is. 7, 8, 9. There it is again. 10, 11, 12. How about that? 13, 14, 15, just like I have. 16, 17, 18. There you go. 19, 20, 21, I lost my place, but I found my way to 21. 22, 23, 24, just like I have there. 25, 26, 27, right there, and to no one's surprise, 28, 29, 30. So use the fingers if you need a little help remembering what skip counting number is next, all right? Same thing with the 4s. Let's go through what I've written, and then we'll practice it using 4 fingers this time. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. All right, let's do it with fingers and see if we can match it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So until you have it memorized, this is a way you can quickly check to make sure you haven't got the wrong number. Later, we're going to use that to help you figure out multiplication questions. So I hope you'll practice both actually, because both can come in really handy. Now as for today's lesson, we're going to be talking about something called arrays. Now here is how you write the word array. Now I like to think of an array as just making a perfect rectangle. Now I'll show you what I mean. We've got all these counters here. Yes, I brought the magnets home. The ones that didn't go home in anybody's pocket, that is. So I've got all these magnets here, and we could count them. We could move them one by one and count them and figure out how many. But an easier way than just having them in a big cluster like this is to have them all straightened out and making a rectangle. So I'm just going to do that right now. So let's say then that I just put them like this. Now the colors don't really matter, so try not to worry about the colors too much. I was kind of hoping I'd have enough to do exactly the same colors in each row, but you have to make do with what you got, don't you? So as you can see, I've made a rectangle because a rectangle is the same on two sides and the same on the opposite two sides, all right? So now that we've got them in straight rows, they are much easier to count, and we could go through counting them one by one and figure out exactly how many there are. But let's do this a little bit differently. We've been practicing counting by 3s and 4s, and I don't know if you've noticed, but each of these lines here has 4 circles in it. So if we count by 4s, we should be able to figure out how many dots there are here. Now I know some of you have already counted and are wishing I would just get to the point. I promise there's a reason I'm slowing it down. I'm trying to teach you the process of doing this, not just getting you to find the answer. So slow down, take a deep breath, star breathe if you must, and be patient while I show you my thinking, all right? So if there are 4 in each line, let's count by 4s. 4, 8, 12. Some of you already knew that. Good for you. So I'm going to write that down here just for now. There were 4 in this line, there were 8 in this line, and there were 12 in this line. Now I'm going to start using some new vocabulary that you might be familiar with or you might not be. Now we're going to call the lines that go side to side, we're going to call those rows. Not the flower, just so we're clear. It's the word row, like row, row, row your boat, except instead of a verb, this is a noun where you put everything in a row, all right? We sit in rows in the classroom sometimes, yes? Now I'm going to add the letter S because there's usually going to be more than one if we're making a rectangle shape, okay? Now we could also count this in a different way. So instead of going with these rows, you'll notice that it makes lines up and down as well. All right, so if you look at these lines, you'll notice that in each line there are 3 circles. So what you want to do is then we're going to count by 3s instead of by 4s, okay? This time I'm going to write the numbers as we count to make it a little more clear. I probably should have done that before, but I'm doing the best I can here. So counting by 3s, 3, 6, 9, and lo and behold, we get 12 again. I don't know if you had noticed that both 3s and 4s, you make a stop on the number 12, and that's going to be a part of this you'll see in a few minutes here. So this is 2 different ways that we can count these circles and get to the right answer, which in this case is 12. Now there's a special name for the up and down lines as well. These are called columns. Now column is a bit of a tricky word, so please pay attention here. It starts out simple enough, but then, you know how lots of our words love to have extra letters that don't make a sound? There's an N on the end here, columns. Why? I'm not sure. It's possible they used to pronounce it. I didn't look it up before we did this. I should do that and get back to you. And I know I'm terrible about saying I'll look things up and then not doing it. So I'm going to write myself a note right here. Look up column. And I will explain that in another video. Okay, back to our lesson here. So we've made an array and we've got 3 rows of 4. We also have 4 columns of 3. Now believe it or not, this is a way to multiply. So I'm just going to show you here that when we multiply, we can think of it as rows and columns. We have 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and we have 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you'll remember, when you're multiplying, you make what looks like a small x between the numbers, okay? And how you would read this is 3 times 4. Saying 3 multiplied by 4 is correct, but it's not very common. We usually just say times. Then of course we need that equal sign after that to show that we're going to give the answer. Now, what we want to know is how many circles do we have altogether? And we know the answer to that. We counted it twice. We have 12. So you would read this sentence, 3 times 4 equals 12, all right? So if you can put the circles into an array, and if you can figure out how many rows and columns, you can make yourself a multiplication question here. Let's do a different example. I'm just going to change the numbers a little bit. I'm going to take away a few. Okay. So now here, I have changed the rows and the columns, as you can see. Now remember, the rows are the side-to-side lines. As you can see, there's 1, 2. There are 2 rows. And if we look at the columns, the up and down lines, you'll see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. All right, so we are going to multiply those numbers together. Let's make our x in the middle. 2 times 5. Now, in order to find out the answer, we can do 2 things. We can count each of these circles. That's fine. I know that you guys are good at counting by 2s and by 5s, so either way would be fine. Let's do it both ways so I can show you the thinking, okay? So first of all, let's count by 2s. We can see that there's 2 in each column, so let's count by 2s. Let's use a different color, and I can show you as we count. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. It looks like our answer is going to be 10. Let's count it this way, and let's see if that's the correct answer. I'll use blue this time to make it a little more clear. All right, now, in each row, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to be counting by 5s this time. You guys are good at that. 5 and 10. And look at that, we got the same answer both ways. So now we know that 2 times 5 equals 10. So just to review what we've talked about today, we are making arrays, which is a fancy word for putting shapes into a rectangle. All right, that's not the best definition, but it'll do for us. The rows are the lines that go side to side. The columns are the lines that go up and down. And if we use these rows and columns, we can make multiplication questions and find the answers, okay? Now, I apologize because I can see that it's a little bit hard to see some of my writing because of the light I have shining here. So I hope you can see that a little more clearly when I hold it like this. I hope this lesson made sense to you. If not, you can rewatch it. I will also be reviewing it tomorrow. By the end of this week, I am sure that this will be very easy for you, and it's a really good tool in helping you figure out multiplication questions until you have them memorized. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I will see you tomorrow.